Hi, good afternoon. Today we're going to talk about Member Hub, contacts, and communications. This is the first in a series of Beyond the Basics in depth. So today, Beyond the Basics is contacts and communications. Our agenda today is I'm going to show you how to set up your site joins page, how to import contacts into Member Hub, how to manage those contacts with custom properties, adding and removing roles, creating and saving filters, and then we'll go into a little bit on Hub's organization, files and photos, calendar, directory, and then last but not least, communications with messages and newsletters. So the first thing we're going to cover is setting up that site joins page. Within your settings area of your module, you would click on the settings module and then click change for site joins. You'll be able to enable your site joins page. You would check the box to enable it. This is going to allow you to create, it's going to create a link for you, and you would share that link with other parents at your school that they would submit a request to join your site. If you want to automatically approve all of those join requests, you can check the second box so that you will not receive those notification emails every time you have join requests. Within the site joins request setting, this is the link that you would see. I always tell people to copy this first one because it actually has the join code. The bottom one does not have a join code, so they would still need that specific code. They'll be prompted to actually put in that request key on a separate page. So it's best to give it to them with the request key already in, and you can just click the little clipboard over here to copy that. If you want to generate a new code, you can always regenerate a new code by just clicking regenerate my code. It will not allow you to create your own code. It's just a random generic, it generates it for you. Now, if you want your site joins page available during a certain period, you can set that date and time frame. If you leave that empty, it's always going to be open. You can also even add additional content about your PTA to let people know what they're getting themselves into. What are they joining? What are they submitting a join request for? Typically, it's for getting on your PTA communications list. So a lot of people will do it just so they can get those emails from the PTA. Once you set up your join request page, your site joins page, you're going to start getting those join requests. If you did not set it to automatically approve, you would need to process those join requests. All of your site administrators will receive an email daily for any pending join requests that need to be processed. You can go under contacts module to join request, and this is where you would process those join requests as they come through. Within contacts, that's where they will be listed. So you can manage all of your contacts and within the contacts module under manage contacts. You can upload contacts. This is the little icon here. It's a little cloud with an arrow pointing up, meaning that you can upload contacts when you click that button. And when you click that button, it's going to give you a download it's going to give you the option to download a template. You do need to use the template when you're importing memberships, or I'm sorry, not memberships, contacts. When you're importing contacts into your site, the template is very basic. It has the first and last name with their email, phone number, their organization role, and year. Put all the contacts in that template. Do not adjust the headers. Do not add to it. If you do anything to the headers, it will affect it and it won't let you import those contacts. Once you have all of the contacts ready to be imported, you would just check these boxes, put your initials to confirm, and you would click add CSV. That means it's a comma separated value file. That is a CSV file. It's very similar to an Excel file, and you would that template that's being provided is a CSV file. So do not save it as an Excel. Make sure you keep it as a CSV because that can create some confusion too, and it won't work. These are the headers. As you can see, first name, last name, email, phone number, the role, and the role year. Now, first, last name, and email are all required fields. It will not import them if any of those fields are blank. It will not import the contact. Now, if you put student for role, it will allow the email field to be empty, but only if the role says student. Role can be contact or student. I think you could even use parent guardian in this one as well. the roll year would be if you want that roll to expire. So if you want it to expire at the end of the current year, you would put the 2022 saying that this roll is going to expire on June 30th, 2022. If you want it to expire a couple years from now, you would just put that year. If you never want it to expire and you want that contact to remain in your site forever, you would just leave roll year empty. That does not have to be entered. You can also leave roll empty as well, or you can just put contact for everyone as well. Now, also within your contacts, you can set up different properties for your contacts, some custom fields that go in their profiles that can be visible by admin or even the user. It's entirely up to you. So this is under contacts, contact settings. You would just simply click add property. And these are the different types of fields that you can have in a property. It can be a text field where they just type in an answer, multi-line if they have like a long answer that you or description or something that they're putting in, a drop down list, a checkbox where they could check yes, check it for yes or something like that. If it's a number or a date field, or if they're multi-selecting, if they're going to select multiple options. The drop down would be like a select one. The multi-select would be like a list of options, and they would select as many options as relate to them. You would name that field name, and this is basically what you're setting up to be in their profiles. So if depending on the visibility, you can set it to where only the site admins see this in each contact's profile, and the site admin are the ones who would set that up and so forth. You can also set it to where it's visible by site admin and the user on the profile, or you can set it up where it's visible to everybody and even shown in the directory. You can also make this property available in your store admin, meaning that if you want customers to answer this question when they're making a purchase in your store, you would check this box and then you would add that to their product in the store so that they would be able to answer it and it would immediately update their profile. You can manage your contacts. Like I'd mentioned, we're going to go back into managing contacts. Within the managing contacts area, in the same area where we imported contacts a while ago, you can click the three dots for any contact to view their profile, add a role, or even remove from organization. So we're going to add a role. So if we click add role, these are the different roles that we can add. We can make them an admin by selecting admin. If we want to add the contact roles, or if we make them a student, if you want to make them a current year officer, you can do that here as well. If you want to give them store admin access or make them store read access, you can do that as well. You can also view the multiple properties that a contact has. You can always see one visible immediately. So for this example, when you move you can see this one is an admin, but they also have two more roles, a +2 here. And if I move my cursor over it, I see that this contact is also a president and a contact. So they have three different roles: admin, president, and contact in this site. If I if I click on a specific role, so for this one, I clicked on admin. And when I clicked on admin, I get this window that says view contact role. This is where I can remove the role. It is not currently set to expire, so I can click expire and it'll expire at year end. If it is set to expire, you'll see a note here underneath the organization name saying when the role will expire. You can also filter your contacts by role. When you click filter, you can select which roles you want to filter the contacts by. These are a variety of different roles that you have within your site. The customer and the donor ones, if you sell anything in your store, they'll be added to your site as a customer. If you sell anything if they purchase anything with a fundraiser, with MemberHub fundraising, they'll be listed as a donor in your site. All the other ones are pretty much ones that you would set up yourself. If they're a PTA member in your site, you'll see a star next to their name as well. You can also filter by those properties, like those properties that I was just showing you. These are some examples of properties that were created in this test site, like teacher name, if you want more information on their address and so forth, or if they're interested in volunteering, you can also add that property, and you can filter that list of list of contacts by those properties. You can also, when you filter those by specific properties, you can even save the filter by clicking the little save icon over here, and that would allow you to save the filter, and you would even be able to name it and then go under contacts settings and be able to view all of those saved filters that you've created. So the next thing we're going to talk about are hubs. So hubs allow you to group your contacts for communications, for sharing files and photos, even for calendar events and so forth. You can create groups of contacts for that. So to set up your hubs, that's under your communications module under hubs. And you would just simply click add hub, and you're going to get this window where you would just put in the hub name. If you want this hub to be within a hub, you can select a parent hub. You can even add yourself as a hub administrator. A lot of people get confused by this whole parent hub. So a good example of that would be, let's say that you're creating a classroom hub that is within a grade level hub. So the classroom hub, when you go to create this classroom hub, you would select a grade hub as the parent hub. So Miss Smith's first grade class, Miss Smith would be the name of the hub, and first grade would be the parent hub. So you would want to create the first grade hub first and then create the classroom hub after that. Once you have created the hub, you'll see it listed in your list of hubs. You can click add contacts, and it gives you the option to add a contact, one contact immediately. You can select from existing contacts within your site. That would allow you to batch add a group of contacts, or you can just simply enter their email addresses to add them. So that, not necessarily saying they have to be a contact in your site already, you would just enter their email addresses to add them. If you click the three dots for a hub, you can view the hub contacts. You can adjust the hub settings, or even archive the hub, meaning that you're no longer using it. And if you do archive a hub, you can filter by active or archived hubs here, and that would show you any of your archived hubs. Currently, this list is only showing active hubs, as you can see, but if you have archived hubs, you can always view those there by changing the filter. Within your hub settings, you have a bit more options than just changing the parent hub or the hub name, which you see that when you first set up the hub, but you can also determine what permissions the contacts have in the hub. Do you want them to be able to send messages and create events for other contacts in the hub, or do you want to keep that only to your hub admin? Also, can this hub be filtered in the directory? Is it a private hub where you don't want people to be able to find it in the directory, or is it a public hub that you want everyone to be able to find all the contacts in this hub within the directory? Also, is this hub going to be visible only by admin, meaning that it's a private hub that only your admin can see? Or is it going to be something that everyone in your site can join or request to join? If you do make it where people can join or request to join, you will want to put a description of the hub so that they'll be able to know what the hub is about before they join the hub or request to join the hub. Contacts can join the hubs. They do have access to the communications module. They have limited access within the communications module, but they will be able to go into join hubs. And that's where they would see all of the hubs that are available to join, and they can submit requests to join those hubs or just join them immediately. Files and photos are shared within your hub, within hubs and within your site. And those are all accessed within your files and photos communications module. And you would just simply go in there to click on files and photos. And when you're viewing here, you can see folders. You can create new folders. This little icon here, this means this is a hub. So you would click on the hub to go in to view those files that are uploaded within that specific hub. When you are here and you choose add file, it would add it directly here. If you select a hub or a folder, it would add the file directly into that hub or folder. The next thing to cover is calendars. So you can create events on your calendar for contacts throughout your entire site, or even just for a specific hub. So within here, you would just click new event. and you would put in the information for the event. If you want to make it a public event, meaning that nobody needs to log in to view or RSVP the event, you can do that. If you don't check that box, people will have to log into Member Hub to view the event. If you want to add the event to your calendar, you can check the box to add it to your organization calendar. Now, the event can be set for a specific date and time or all day on a specific day. You can set it to repeat however you wish. And if you want to send out a reminder to everyone before the event, you can do that as well. Now, the location, you can set up a location for the event. If it's somewhere unique, you might want to put the location of the event so people would know where to go. And then attendees, this is where you can select attendees to attend the event. If you select attendees, they will receive an email immediately asking them to RSVP. You don't have to select attendees. You can make this just a public event for everyone to see, or you can send it to everyone. You can do it by hubs, select specific contacts, do it by roles, or even one of your saved filters that you created. And once you do that, then you can click save to save it. And when anybody goes into the event, a user will be able to click on the event from the calendar and RSVP yes, maybe, or no. If they are an admin, they'll have the option to edit the event. And when they click edit, they can scroll down to attendees to change the attendee list. They can add attendees. They can update an RSVP for an attendee, as well as the number of attendees. And they can even export the list of people who were invited. Now, within the directory, this is where you will see all the contacts in your site. Every contact in your site will be listed under your directory. You can filter them by member or by what hub they are. You can even group them as individuals or families. If as a site admin, you can adjust the settings of the directory. When you adjust the settings within the directory, you can choose who can view the directory. You can set it to where only your site admin can see it, or you can make it visible to everyone. You can also even limit it to only your current ERPTA members and site admin. You also have a little bit more control too on what profile fields are going to be visible in the directory. So if you only want their name and email, or maybe even just their name, it's entirely up to you on how you want the directory set to be visible. And then do you want to allow your users to export it, or even allow them to see a map view of the directory? Keep in mind, users can edit their profiles to not be fully visible. They may hide their email address and phone number. And so when you set it to be fully visible, some of those fields may not be visible to other users because the person has set up their own personal profile to not be visible. Or if they're not even using the site, if they're not logging in, but you have all of their information, you might want to only show their name or control who can see the directory so that they're aware, their information is not being shared without them being aware of it. The next part we're going to talk about are sending messages, communications. You can send messages and newsletters through Member Hub. The first one we're going to cover is a simple message. Contacts within your site can send messages. Hub admin can send messages to a hub. If you have your hub settings set, even the contacts within the hub can message people in that hub. So under communications messages, this is where you would click new message to create a new one. And as you can see, it's very simple. You can choose to send this message to everyone. You can select specific contacts you want to send the message to, or even specific hubs or roles, or even use your saved filters that you created. You would just put a subject in the message, and then you would type in your message here. At the bottom, you can choose to add an attachment or even send the message at a later date. Keep in mind, if you're sending a message to a hub and you're adding an attachment and you don't want anyone outside of that hub to see that attachment, it would be best to upload that file to your files and photos area for that hub, and then share that link within the message area rather than attaching it here. Because if you attach the file here to the message, it's going to show up in a public folder within your files and photos area where everybody can see. So just keep that in mind. If you want something only specific to a hub, upload it to that hub folder within the files and photos, and then copy the link to share it in the message. Once you send a message, it's sending it through email, but then you get a pop-up window that you can send a text message. So you can edit the SMS message, or you can keep it just the way it is. It's up to you. You have 160 characters that you can send for the message. Users will not get the text message unless they have a valid mobile number entered in their profile and they have selected their cell phone carrier in their profile. If they do not do that, they will not receive the text message. Now, newsletters is the next thing we're going to cover. It is different from messages in that it does not send a text message to the contacts. You can create a campaign of newsletters to send out specific, like if you're doing like, oh, weekly newsletter campaign and call it that, or restaurant fundraiser campaign, and you send a series of emails specific to that fundraiser. Those would be some examples for campaigns. And it's not so simple, like you don't just have a box that you type in the message, you have a bit more involved details in this. So within communications newsletters, you would just simply click add message. And then this is where if you have a campaign already created, you can select one. This particular site does not yet have one. So you would click start a new campaign. And then you would want to edit name to change the name of the campaign because it defaults to say new campaign. You definitely would want to change that. You can edit your recipient list. You can, same thing, you can click the link to send it to everyone. You can select multiple contacts you want to send this newsletter to, or even if you want to send it to a specific hub or even a role. One thing I do want to mention, if you're wanting to message or send newsletters to only your PTA members, selecting role and member is perfect for being able to communicate with only PTA members. So you can do that under the roles. And if you have saved filters, you can do that. So then here's where newsletters makes big difference between messaging. You select your template. You select what type of template you want. We have a variety of different ones, like there's PTA recruitment, join the PTA, restaurant night fundraiser, classroom newsletter, or just like a basic 1-2 column list or whatever. Here's a video explaining how to do a newsletter once you've selected your template. So within the editing of the template for the newsletter, you have content blocks. They want to use. So That pretty well covers it. If you are ever working within your site and you have some questions throughout the site, we have this little question mark. It's our little help widget. It opens up our resource center where you can search help articles, you can check feedback, submit feature requests, provide feedback of your own. We also have a quick start checklist that gives you a walkthrough of all the different things on getting started. And we tend to do updates about every 2 weeks in Member Hub. So you can always check our product release notes under announcements for recent updates. And if you really you need more help, you can always contact support by just clicking this button here, contact support. And that'll take you to our help center where we have a little chat widget that can pop up and assist you further. So if you have any further questions, please email support@memberhub.com. We're always available to help. I thank you and have a great day.